Are we back? We're back. All right. Z Doctor. Here's the thing. I'm not going to click on that link again, but make sure that number one, make sure that your Android SDKs are all up to date. That's really important. Also, make sure that you have, if you're not using Hyper-V, make sure that you have the Intel Haxum installed as well. All right. Cool. Let's get back on track here. Now, what I want to do here, first of all, just while we're paused, or we're not running right at the moment, I'm going to add in a paint surface in here because that's going to add an event. So let's do a ski sharp canvas. So let's go and throw something in there. Beautiful. So that's in our landscape view. Let's spin it up again. Let's position these things. Z Doctor. First I broke the stream, then I made him end. Nah, I'm still here. Gives you no error. That's not great. Wow. I think you broke my Android device as well. That's gold. There's no need to panic. There's no need to panic. We'll just work it through. Look at that. What is that build doing? Who knows? Oh my god. Now my Visual Studio's crashed. Nobody panic. This is hilarious. All right, I'm going to shut down Visual Studio here. Oh god. Yeah, shut down. You're toast. You're dead to me, Visual Studio. Dead to me. And 1 bit from Lachlan. That's all I'm worth. That's hilarious. That's all right. I haven't had any like sort of major fails on stream before, but now I have. One bit. All right. Come on, Android. One bit. Thank you. Thank you, Lewis. The 1-bit train for R2AU. Thank you. Update my log. Ah, my log. what did we have? We had we had some Lachlan. Atue, you did as well. Awesome. All right. Come on, we can do it. We're trying to deploy to an Android device. My goodness. 10 bits. Oh, it's a bit war. I feel like I should use my voice changer here somehow to do like an announcement. We've got 2 bits coming in, and now we've got 10 bits. Anyone for 12 bits? 12 bits, going once, going twice. No. All right. Damn, all right, Google, what you doing? All right, let's get control of this situation. 13 bits. Thank you, Lachlan. 12 bits. 12 bits. We had 12. Oh, come on. When you're distracting me, I'm supposed to be like a professional. Right? Isn't that what I'm supposed to do? All right. We do have things back up and running, I think. There we go. Phew. At 14 bits. My God, it's a mockery. Fantastic. Thank you for that. All the bits go to charity. All right, let's have a look at what we got here. We want our design. Let's see what's going on here. I'm going to make that a topmost window again so we can keep watching it. I found a really cool little tool called, what's it called? Turbo Top, which allows me to basically select any window and just make it always a topmost window. So that's pretty cool. Now, I don't buy beer with it. Just got to do one more thing. I got to say, hey, let's make this good quality. There we go. Turbo Top, it was called. I'm not sure if it's a great program, but it does the job now. So basically I can have this window, which means, you know, when I'm streaming, I can be editing here and also viewing it. I don't have to keep switching back and forth. When I'm normally coding, this is how I roll normally. Let's have a look here. In case anyone cares. This is the one that I do streaming on. This is my widescreen. That's what I normally use for developing on. So normally I'll develop on here and then have a couple of simulators on this screen. That's the one I use for streaming. And sitting over here is my Mac. So yeah, that's my setup. All right. Now, we want 2 buttons, right? And actually, the 2 buttons go side by side. Right, side by side. I could do a stack layout for this, right? How'd it work? Let's try that. I don't use stack layouts nearly enough. All right, so we'll say, hey, let's go and stick this in grid row 1. Let's make its orientation. In fact, let's do this. We'll put that in there. Okay. So we'll put that in. Is it updating? Let me just check this is updating. Yep, it's updating. Beautiful. So I'll say stack layout. Let's put it in grid row 1. Let's set its spacing, because what we're going to want is we're going to want to have 2 box views sitting next to each other, right? I probably can get rid of the grid row out of this one now. Don't need that. Put one there. That one's light green. This one is light gray. Okay. I need to set my orientation. Okay, so I set the orientation to be horizontal. So now they're going to appear next to each other. Okay, that's okay. I want to change the spacing between them. I want that to be 0. And then probably get rid of these horizontal options and the vertical options. Anyway, let's say we want that there. Let's have this at the end. It's going to put it over there, and we want it to be overlapping, right? So let's set a translation for this. Buttons are 40 big. So there we go. Something like that. Okay, so that basically positions those elements there. They're going to be our 2 buttons. Let's change that gray. For the moment, let's just make them really stand out. All right, so that sort of gives us enough for our page. Now, given how long we've taken to do this, what I'm thinking is let's go and throw some images in here, first of all, because we've got the basic layout. So we'll get an image in there. Maybe we'll get the image animating just very simply, and then we'll come back and we'll do the fine tuning. Because one thing that did occur to me, and I'd be interested to know what people think about the right approach for this is, you see on the reference image here, let's get a still shot of this. So many windows. VLC's just died. All right, cool. All right, so here's the question for you. For those of you who do UI design, how would you do this, right? So we've got this thing here, which is actually transparent. Okay. Now, if I have a white background on here, obviously I don't want it to appear in this section here. So one option that we could have is we could use box views kind of imaginatively, and we could actually go like a box view, a box view, and a box view, right? And then an image in here. So that's one way we could do it. The other way is we could just render it all in Skier Sharp. Yeah, it's pretty gross, but somehow we have to have that cut out. Yeah. I'm inclined to think Skier. Yeah. All right, but for the moment, let's not worry about that. Let's just tackle making these 2 buttons work, okay? Or at least displaying an image. So we'll come back to that one. In fact, I'm going to put in my log here. How do we create the transparent button? Right. Crazy ass box views. I'd say probably Skier, but anyway, let's go ahead with what we got at the moment. Cool. So we got elements here. I think we're going to want to add some click handlers to these, hey? So we'll add some gesture recognizers. And for the moment, let's just throw in a method here. Stop this because it's going to complain if I try and do that. Okay, and we'll do the same thing here. Did I not close a tag or something? I did not. All right, cool. Let's start off with an image. So what we want is we want to fill in our skier canvas right behind the scenes. So we'll go back to our landscape view.cs. Oh, fantastic, Z Doctor. It works. Beautiful. Well done. Android emulator for the win. All right, let's create ourselves a view model to start off with. And we'll use that same view model. So that was our slideshow view model. All right, and let's also set our binding context again. Not that it really matters because I'm not really binding per se. So we'll say that equals a view model, which equals, we'll get it from our view model locator. Dot slideshow view model. Beautiful. So now we should have some data, which means that what we can do is we can get our bitmap. So we'll store this away. Now this is going to be a little bit interesting, and I'll show you why in a second. So we'll have our SK bitmap using Skier Sharp, and this will be our current bitmap. Current bitmap. Okay, and we'll just do the same thing as we did earlier on. Let's just go and use that bitmap extensions to load it up. So I should be able to say current bitmap, bitmap. So there's bitmap extensions, and we can load a bitmap resource. In fact, you know what? Why would I want to write this again? I've actually got the same code sitting over here. Let's do this. Whoops. So we're going to load a bitmap up. And then what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll just render it to start with, just to see how it looks. So we're going to want to clear the canvas. First of all, beautiful. So this is in our paint event. We'll clear the canvas. And then we want to render the image, right? So let's just literally work out our image rect, right? So this is the size of our canvas. And then where's a little raw bitmap? Yeah, we could do it this way, right? We can say canvas.draw bitmap. We can say, let's draw our current bitmap. And let's give it a destination rect, which is our image rect. And we also had an aspect fill, right? So there was a, what's it called? We'll look at the overload for this. Did you know that in Visual Studio 2019, I saw this on a tweet the other day, theoretically, if I hit F1 here, it should bring me up the draw bitmap. Hey, thanks for the follows there, Doctor. Yeah, actually does bring up the method, which is nice. All right, so we're going to draw this bitmap. So I'm just going to find out what it was. We had it in aspect fill. Okay, because that's how we want it to size. So theoretically, that should now give us our image. Let's just find out if that is the case. Is the jingle coming through, Dragon? It's not. Oh man, I'm such a failure at streaming. All right, we've got our image. Yeah, let's try this one. Here's the theme song. You ready? I don't know how loud this is going to come through.
Today we're gonna code lots with Mr. Kim fill pots, and oh how amazing you'll be.
Sorry, that was probably way too loud. Anyway, too loud, Glenn, too loud. Excellent. Z Doctor, fantastic. Thanks for dropping by. Thanks for the follow. We'll chat later. And remember, I'll be updating the repo with this as well. All right, cool. Now, we've got our image, right? So there's our image rendered onto the background. Now, theoretically, because it's sharing the view model, right, I have no way of transitioning on that page. But if I go into my portrait page and I go to, say, this page and I swap back, it should get my current bitmap, which it does. Okay, cool. So we're basically sharing our information between our two view models. That's, well, between our one view model, which we use through the view model locator. Okay, so now what we want to do, why does it flash black? It's only because Visor does that when you rotate. We shouldn't see that. Like, for example, if we run this on iOS, let's just try actually. Or if I just run it on my physical device, it doesn't turn black. Of course, Z-Dragon's been here, right? So all my devices are broken. My iOS is broken. It's dead to me. Oh my God, he's serious. Yeah, that's all right. No problems, Dragon. I know you believe me. But now I have this problem that it's trying to deploy out to my Mac. Let's see if this works. Let's see if I disconnect my build host. Huh. Hey, Glenn Stevens. How are you doing? Hope you're feeling well. Yeah, I just played your jingle, Glenn, at about a million decibels. Yeah, that's what happens when you when you play the jingle. Glenn arrives. So just Glenn, to let you know, we're working on this one. We're working on this UI. It's been a bit of a comedy of errors with environments today. So it's been kind of funny. OBS has balked itself. Visual Studio's balked itself. Anyway, we're having fun. Anyway, that's what we're working on. We're just sort of getting the basics done now. But anyway, you kick back and have fun. All right. So we've got our bitmap here. We're drawing this. Now here's going to be a exactly. You dash off into the distance. Now, what was I going to say? What we want to do here is we now want to go and create some animations. Now, the challenge that we're going to have, right? So if we think about how we're going to achieve this, I just want to make sure that this keeps... When I draw on the screen, you can still see it updating, right? Bjork music. You haven't lost your sense of humor, Glenn. Let me sort of catch this halfway through here. All right. Okay, I think you can still see me drawing on the screen. Okay, cool. So what this is doing, right, or how we'll approach this is we're going to basically get the image, and we're gonna slice it up. Right, we're going to slice it up into a bunch of sections here, like this. And then we are going to basically animate those, get them from the source image, animate them across and render them effectively. Now, the challenge that we have is that the image that we're displaying on the phone is not, technically speaking, just the actual image itself, right? Because we use an aspect fill, for example, right, in order to render it. So we actually calculate some different rectangle margins to apply it. So we're actually going to have to get that that version of the image that's already been corrected and then slice it up. Okay, so it sounds a little bit complex. It shouldn't be too bad, right? So what I'm thinking is we're going to have a method here, which is going to give us a bitmap. All right, so this is like, we want to create ourselves a scaled or aspect corrected image, right? Or bitmap. All right, so we want to take in a bitmap, and then we're going to take in the rectangle. Right, so we'll say SK rect, and this is our destination rect. Right. And what we want to do here is we want to say, let's go and create a bitmap. Right. Then we're going to create a canvas for that bitmap. And then we're going to render the image onto the canvas. So we're going to create a bitmap in the just the right size that we're after. Okay. So we'll just say we want a new SK bitmap. We're going to take our destination rect. Destination rect. So we're going to specify how wide it is and how high it is. All right, so this is our bitmap that we're going to then slice up. And this is, always going to this to be ints. Yep, so I thought. All right. Cool. So now what we have is that we can now create ourselves a canvas for that bitmap because we want to render onto that bitmap as it should be. So I can just create a canvas, right, which is like my aspect bitmap canvas. And create a canvas. And if you say, I want to create a canvas and you give it a bitmap, like my aspect, get out of the way, fixed bitmap. When I draw on that canvas, oops, sorry. Give it that bitmap in here. Okay. Now, when I do any drawing on that canvas, pump up that font for you, Glenn. Most certainly. Also, you'll see it's actually displayed down the bottom. So I've got subtitles for my keyboard now. Okay. So if I say so I've created a canvas on that bitmap. So now if I render onto that canvas, I'm actually drawing into the bitmap. So then I can use that same bit of code that I had before, right, where I say, let's go and get our source bitmap, right, which is the one which is not aspect scaled. Go and throw that onto the destination rect, right, which is basically the rectangle of my bitmap. And I can give it a bitmap stretch of aspect fill. It's really hard typing in that big a font. And then return that bitmap. Okay, and it's going to dispose of the canvas because of the using. I'm gonna reduce it just a little bit, Glenn, because it's a bit. There we are, to that. You can always read that down the bottom. Okay. Now the reason I want to kind of do that is because once I then have this bitmap, which is already scaled correctly, I can slice it up, and everything should work. Should work nicely. Okay. Now back to our thing here. So what I'm going to have is I'm going to have my current bitmap, and remember that bitmap there is going to be like square or whatever size it is. So I want to have a which is my my current bitmap, but aspect corrected. And again, we'll probably work out a nicer way of doing this a little bit later on, because it feels like a little bit nasty, right? But here, if I say, okay, I've got my bitmap. Let's just do this really cheeky for a moment. Let's just say I want to current bitmap aspect corrected equals, call that method with my original bitmap and my image rect. Okay, and then I'm just going to draw, and to test this out, back from lunch, Clinton, hope it was a good one. I should be able to draw that without doing any modifications to its aspect ratio. And if all is going well, it'll actually look exactly the same as it did before. Right, so I know that sounds kind of ridiculous, but it's going to be important when we want to go and slice this image up. So I'm not sure when you left, Clinton. been a comedy of errors. We'll get there in the end. $100 bits. Thank you, Clinton. That'll make me feel better. Now, let me just wait for this to deploy. Because if this deploys and renders okay, then we can slice it up and do some animations. Look at that. I feel like I might have missed a few in there. Come on, Android. Okay, while that's building, let's think about this. I think what we'll do is, now that we've got the image, which is actually the correct scaled image here, we actually don't really need to create individual images for each of these, right? Because when you draw a bitmap in Skier#, you can actually specify the source and the destination rect. So I can say copy from this section of that source image, and if I wanted to, I could say draw that bit down here, you know, which is not what I want to do, but it means I don't have to actually create cached versions of each row. I can just copy them out. And then what I think is basically we'll have an animation, right? Because there's a little bit of a trick here with this. If you have a look at how it's animating, they don't all animate at the same pace, and they don't all necessarily animate starting at the same time as well. Okay, so there's gonna have to be an animation for each band, if you like. All right, but here we are. We've got our app running again. So the one to test this on is when I go this one, to see whether it has the correct aspect ratio when we go that way. And it does. Beautiful. Okay, cool. So now we're in a good place. So let's go ahead, create our animations. Let's just do it here for a starting point, and then we'll clean it up later on. First of all, we're going to want to have the different bands and the different positions on each of the bands. So let's have a variable, which is going to be our offset. All right, and we're going to have this as an array of double values, which are our band translation values. Right, and I think there's 5 in here. Right, so when we animate, we're going to update the value in each of those, and that's going to basically give us the offset that we're going to use. So once I've got that, I should be able to come in here and say, let's go and create an animation. In fact, I'm going to copy some code from this page just to get the animation stuff correct. Basically going to be doing something like this. Okay, so we're going to say, okay, well, if the animation's running, don't do that. Get rid of this bit of code. But what we'll want to do is create an animation. Hey, Chris, man. Welcome. Thank you for the follow. We're just doing a little bit of animation. Evening. Hope you're having a good evening, Chris, man. let's have a look at this. So we're going to want to, okay, here's the other thing. I'm just sort of thinking through how we do this, right? If we basically create, so as this is animating, right? If we go and we create 5 values for each of the different bands about where it's up to in its animation, these numbers are going to keep updating all the time, but we don't want to redraw every time one of these changes, I don't think. I think we kind of want like a global refresher, if you like, which also runs and then basically gets the values here. Otherwise, we're going to be like having heaps and heaps of redraws in there. So I'm not sure if that kind of made sense, but the idea, what I'm thinking is we're going to have an animation. Let me get rid of this for the moment. We've got it in here. See how we've got this? We've got a skier animation. Okay, and all we want this to do really, when it comes down to it, is really just say, hey, I'm animating. So there's a field for that, right? And what do we call it? I need to give it a name in the XML. Good. So we're basically just saying, hey, every time this sort of ticks over, let's go and update our display. And we're also going to want to get the width of the page. Skier deals with stuff in pixels, right? So we can get that from going to our image skier canvas. Okay. Because if I was to just say width, that would be Xamarin.Forms width. So it would be in points or points or DPs and things like that. So that's not what we want because skier deals with pixels. So we can actually go to the canvas and get the canvas size width. And that will give you the number of actual pixels or what it's using inside the canvas. Okay, so we want this to go from like 0 to screen width pixels. Okay, so that's where it's going to start. It's going to go through there. And so it's going to keep on updating or invalidating that surface as it goes through. Okay, cool. Now we're going to want to create our actual animations themselves. So let's say a for loop. It's always a good start. So we want to go from this to, what did we call it? It's a variable. Bands translation values, the number of items we have in there. So dot length. -1, probably. I don't know. I'll probably get an off by 1 error here. We're going to have a parent animation. And we're then going to create an animation and we're going to add it in. Excuse me. There's going to be a new animation. And we're basically going to say, let's take our value that we get out of the animation and let's go and put that in element I in there. Okay. So as this animates, it's going to be updating this array with different numbers, which is the band offset effectively. What else we got? We've got a start and we've got an end value. So we want to start those values at 0. We want to take it through to the screen width in pixels. And we'll give it an easing because easings are cool. Let's just go with the default one. We can fine tune a little bit later on. Okay, so we've got sign in out. That's good. We've got an animation. We want to add that into our parent animation. Okay, I'm going to do this on just one line because we're going to I don't want to do this. This isn't going to work. All right, let's do this. Let me do this for a moment. Let me think about what I'm going to do here. Create animations for each band. Add to the parent. Probably about it, right? So we're going to add that in. So that adds it to the parent. Beautiful. Let's just do this. Let's just hard code a couple here. So let's just say we got 0. Oh, why doesn't that do it? Oh, we're going to give it the start and the end points, right? So let's say we're going to offset these a little bit. So we'll have some slightly different values. So the first band is going to be the one, say at the top. Let's just throw some values in here. So it's going to start 0.2 the way through the animation. Okay, and it's going to go through to the end, for example. Let's just create a few of these. Okay, and the last band we want to start off. So let's just offset these. 0.1, let's just do this, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4. So in this case, they're all going to start at slightly different times. They're all animating through the same values, but they're offset from each other, and they all end up at the same place at the same time, which is probably not what we want, but we can adjust those a little bit later on. So now that we have 5 animations, let's add our skier animation in here as well. Okay. So this is just going for the entire lifetime of this, and we'll say skier animation. Now we need to commit it. I can never remember the syntax, so let me come over here. Okay, so what we want to do is we say, let's commit this animation over a certain amount of time, and what do we want to do at the end? So commit is going to run it. And all we really want to do is we just want to say, for the moment, we'll just say, I'm not animating anymore. Okay. We're going to say it happens every 16 milliseconds. We're going to say it's going to take, let's slow it down to start with. It's going to happen over 2 seconds. And let's give it an easing as well. Making sure it's not running. Beautiful. All right, So hopefully what we can do now is we can go ahead and slice up this image. We don't actually have to slice it up. We just need to first of all, we'll say if we're not animating, let's just draw the image. That's all we need to do. We don't need to do anything else. Otherwise, what we want to do is we want to go through all of those values, work out our rectangles, animate those values. So we're going to have a for loop, which is going to go through to our what do we call it? Band transition values dot count. So it's an array dot length. That we're going to basically want to calculate the source rectangle. So that's where we're getting it from, that corrected bitmap that we had. And then we're going to calculate the destination. And this is one that's going to, excuse me, consider the animation value. Okay, cool. And then we're going to want to draw it, right? So then we go ahead and we draw the bitmap. Let's first of all work out our band height, work out our heights and widths. Our rectangles. Okay, so each band, logically speaking, is going to be our image, which has a disgustingly long name, dot height, divided by the number of bands that we have, right? Which is, I suppose it's band translation dot count, right? Something like that. That should tell us how high each band is. Hey, Draknik. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. We're just going through. We're doing this. We're just slicing up all these images, getting them ready to animate. Actually, just calculating the rectangles, really. So welcome, thanks. All right. So yeah, if anyone's got any questions, feel free to ask away. Apart from why am I so bad at coding? Our bandwidth. Well, it's just going to be the width of that bitmap now, right? Because we've already created that at the right size with the right aspect ratio. So now we need a source rectangle. Okay, so we use 4 bits. Whoop, whoop. Thank you, Lachlan. You wait until this works. And then you can cheer. So we have a source rectangle. And this should just be, right? Because if we think about what we have, we've got this source image, which is like this. And we're trying to render this onto the screen. It's a bit more. So we basically just want to copy from there, and then it would be offset like that. Thank you for those bits. No worries, Glenn. Take care of yourself, man. Hope you have a good weekend. Lachlan, through with the 14 bits. You missed the music. Ah, here. Wait on before you go, Glenn. Let me play it for you. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it down a little bit because I just about killed everyone before. You ready for this, Glenn? This, by the way, everyone, in case you didn't realize, this is actually Glenn Stevens made this for me. If I can find it, where is it? Ready?
Today we're gonna code lots with Mr. Kim Phil Potts, and oh, how amazing you'll be.
There you go. Thank you, Glenn. Take care, mate. Hey, Ice Cream Codes. Thanks for the 42 bits. Oh, come on. It's getting crazy. I can't keep up with this. I'm going to have to look at the logs and pull it out later on. Oh my God. I'm just going to make sure I get all of the people. Ice Cream Codes. I love it. I know, 42 bits. Funny. All right. Hang on. I can't spend all day here, so I'm going to have to... Oh my God, another 100. It's craziness. All right. I need to calculate this source rect. It's very hard to concentrate. So the source rect is just going to come from like, so we need to give it the left, right, top, bottom, right? So it's always going to be from the left of the image because the source image doesn't move. The top is going to be the offset for the band. So we need to say a band Y offset. Thank you, Lachlan. 46 with a face like this. Appreciate it. Thank you, sir. SDW Mage, thank you for the follow. It's a bit of a random stream today. It's a little bit chaotic, but thanks for following. And let me know if you've got any questions. Or any input. Okay, so first of all, we need to say what's our offset for the band, right? So what this really means is where is this band position? And it's actually just going to be whichever band we're in times by the height of a band. 47 bits. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna update that a little bit later on. Thank you, I appreciate it. So many bits. Band-aids offset. So this is where each band should be done, and this is going to be based on those band transition values. So these are the animated values. Something like that. I think that will do it. Okay. So now the source is going from the different bands, right? So it's going to start at the band Y offset. It's going to just go the full width of the screen, or full width of the bitmap, right? Which is bandwidth. And then the height of the band is going to be band Y offset plus plus the band height, I think. Did you just cheer 48 individual bits, Lachlan? It's amazing. Thank you, sir. What am I doing here? I'm breaking something. All right. Now the destination is going to be the interesting one. Feeling salty. Well, you are in a pirate band, right? A shanty band. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to get the offset from the animation, which is going to be this value here. And then pretty much the same values that we had before the other one. So we want it to be at the same Y position. We want it to be the offset plus the width. And then the Y is going to want to be the same as this. And let's see what happened there. It needs to be a float. Okay. Oh, I'd love to. I'd love to come along to your gig on Sunday. Is it ping me the details, tweet me the details. All right, so now we want to draw the bitmap, right? So that's easy. We just say, hey, Canvas, go draw that bitmap. But now we don't want to use the original image. We want to use our pre-scaled image. So we say aspect corrected. We want it to go to the destination rect. Sorry, I want to go from the source rect to the destination rect. Phew. Let's see what happens. So I think that's all the things. We're incrementing the values. Let's just see what happens. Oh. Well, that's not right, is it? Something moved. Wow. My device. Wow. I didn't even know what happened then. All right. Now's the time for debug. I want to make sure all of these values are 0 to start with. Okay, that's probably going to be a useful thing. So let's just make sure everything starts at 0. A equals to band translation values dot length, I suppose. Let's just make sure. I wonder if there's a quicker way of clearing an array. Is there? Anyone know? I don't think there is a clear method on is my array equal null though just like kill the array, or does it reset all the values to 0? There's no clear. Okay. We're creating an animation. We're adding a bunch of child animations, which is saying go and update these. Hey. Look at that. I was updating the same value in each of these. That's not right. My array equals new array X. Okay, let's try that. So band translation values equals new. I have to give it the same number, I suppose, right? Because we want potentially the number of bands to vary, I'm gonna leave it like this for the moment. Nah, screw this. Let's do this. Hey, nothing else matters. Thank you so much for the subscription. Appreciate it. Welcome. Hopefully everything's going well with you. We're just mucking around here creating this animation. So I've been going for a while. I'll probably just see if I can get these ones sliding to do it. But as I mentioned, we do actually have in the GitHub repo in the portrait mode, we've got a nice animation going. This one's a little bit messy at the moment, but thanks so much. And Lewis is back. Beautiful. Okay, got an animation. I've got 5 rows here. Lachlan's counting up with the bits, or one at a time. Beautiful. Thank you, Lachlan. Let's just see what happens here, and then we can put some debug in. Where's my screen here? Ooh. So, Dragon says if you spam the button, it's going to break right now. I don't think it will. I spammed the button and it did. Why is it breaking? Thank you, Clinton. Nothing else matters. So I used to do some of your classes as XAMU. It was a very nice education process. Thank you so much. That's so kind. So we've so just in the Xamarin University stuff, we've moved that across to Microsoft Learn. And yeah. I thought I did have something. Now back to the question from Might be a dragon. Put here, this would stop this animation. So it would basically say if this animation is running, transition animation, then it's not going to do any more animation until this is all finished. We may have to end up doing like a, you know, tasks and when alls and things like that as well. Okay. Let's see what we got here. We're getting our values here. Now what was going on? It was basically rendering. It looked like the width was wrong. I'm just going to put a breakpoint here somewhere. My bad, dragon. Don't worry, it's not broken. Is that the bit where I clicked on it and it it crashed my phone? That'd be it. Awesome. Lachlan. Fibonacci bits. I like it. Is there 2 1s? Let's have a look what our values are here. Oops. Look at that. We don't want that. Okay. That one started moving. If I run this. All my band offsets. So my band offset's 288 because we're on band 2. 0, 1, 2. There's a band, 288. Okay, that looks about right. The X offset, what's my value here? I need to see if those values are coming through correctly. I feel like they're not. Actually, let's just see what our source rectangle is here. Okay, so this is where we're copying it from. 0 to the left, top 576, width of 1440. Looks about right. Okay, cool. Our destination. Zero, 576 width. That's about right. What does it do? Let's have a look. Actually doing. Image. Oh. Right. Something bad's happening here. Oh. You know what? Every time this redraws this, it's capturing an image. We don't want that. We actually only need to create that here, or actually when we swap images. So I think actually if we ran the profiler, we'd see that it just generated a crap ton of images. Okay, cool, 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 cool. That's better. We were doing all sorts of bad things before. Okay, so what's this doing? This is... I feel like we're animating to the wrong size here. Actually got those going. Let's have a look at the... Let's have a look at the values that we... They should be right. It must be the source and destination regs, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a breakpoint here. I don't... kind of looks like it's creating the rect in portrait. It does, you know. You're right. Let's see if the... It does. I'm going to have a look at this method here. I'd be interested to know how big this image is. That we're... Although that's the one we're drawing, it should be fine. It should be fine. $1440 by 2. So that's the correct pixel dimensions of my device. So this should have the right values. Height, the width will be... Yep. Okay. It doesn't mean that I've scaled it correctly, of course. But that looks about right. Okay. I think that's creating the correct image because actually we know it's creating the correct image because when it's not animating, that's the one that's rendering here. Okay. So let's have a look at these animated values. Maybe they're wrong. See that? It's like a copy and paste fail. Oh, God. Excuse me. All right. Let's try that again. Man, live coding's hard, huh? But it's been fun. I just see Lewis, the 88 bits. 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34. You need 2's complements. That would be better. Okay, what's happening with our device? Let's run this thing. Cool. Couldn't connect the debugger. I've never seen anything in the storage source. Oh, goodness, who's got time for this? Who's got time for Android, huh? Did I ever use the website livecoding.edu? I didn't. Never even heard of it. Sounds pretty cool though. All right, let's let me just connect my device up here again. Wow, sometimes that's all. Oh. Couldn't connect to the debugger. Android, what are you doing to me? All right, I'm gonna shut down Visual Studio, start it up again. It's the only way to be sure. You got that issue as well, Dragon. Had an issue a lot with the latest version. I think I'm going to take Lachlan's advice, and I'm going to have to update to the preview, because this non-preview version feels a little bit buggy. Yeah, which is a shame, because things have actually been pretty smooth, I feel, for the last few releases. Anyway, let's try this. Let's try and get these bars to animate before we finish. And then we've kind of shared our data. We've created a view model. We've updated our pages. Ooh. Preview 3. Oh, preview, updated preview to try the hot reload. Nice. Yay, Blazor. Actually, it's funny because Lachlan's doing a bit of Blazor, Clinton. We're talking about some stream things that we could do with Blazor. All right, let's have a look at what this is doing. I think it's working. Let me show you. All right. Yeah, Signal R with Blazor. Let's try this. Hey, there we go. There we go. There we go. I feel like they should be offset a little bit. That works okay. Beautiful. Let's try some different animation values in there. Because if you have a look at this, this one here, one of the nice things about it is they don't all finish at the same time. So, and also they have different different sort of accelerations as well. So this is what I'm going to try and do. Let's try and offset these a little bit. We'll just pick some values here, but basically this one starts first, then we'll go like 0.05 because that's the legal drinking percentage here in Australia. Then we'll go to 1, then we'll go to 1.5, and then we'll go to 2, right? And then for these ones here, let's make it finish the first one, the bottom one first. So it starts, but it finishes a little bit early, and we'll say this one finishes after that one. Let's just see what goes on here. See if that makes it look a little bit nicer. Yeah, it's a lot better. I also think these ones overshoot. See how they stop there? I think in this one they actually overshoot quite a bit. So I'll try one more thing before we finish up. Let's just say this should overshoot by a certain amount, which means it will still be accelerating when it goes off. So let's just keep it go. So let's say this one goes like, we'll work out some good values for this. Right, so the idea then would be they'd still be accelerating when they go off the screen. Except for the last one. Not too bad. Some fine tuning for sure required. And we'll also have to solve all of this problem. So I think I'm gonna have to call it quits there for today. We got the basics of the animation, so that's good. Next time, let's go ahead and add in some of these details that are up here, the page indicators here. Work out these buttons, get it scrolling that way. Also, there's some interesting stuff with the animation of these bits of text as well. You look at these swap over each other. It's pretty cool. Yeah. Hey, Lachlan, thanks for those 90 bits. And I should say thanks to everyone. There's been some great fun here today. It was lots of fun, even though it was pretty chaotic. So thanks everyone. thanks again, Lewis, there for the 100, and Lachlan. And who else we got? Clinton, thanks for joining us. Dragon, of course. And we've also got some new subscriber. Well, we got some new subscribers and new followers as well, which was amazing. Arthur, you've been there, lurking. Lovely. My goodness. So a few new followers as well. So Ice Cream Code, and yeah, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Alrighty. 96 bits. You guys are hilarious. All right, let's go see if there's anything worth rating. Has anyone checked this dude out? Laboratory 24. He's kind of interesting. So he kind of builds robots and stuff live. So he kind of normally does something where he like shoots ping pong balls. Let's should we give that a go? Don't think there's anyone else. Let me just quickly check. It's always nice to give a little raid at the end, I think. All right, well, let's do this. Let's give a little raid to Laboratory 24. Fantastic. You guys are live robots. He's got robots you can control via chat commands. And also see this window here. This, you can actually control that. You can send pictures to him, which is pretty awesome. All right, let's do it. Let's go and rate him. So again, everyone, thanks so much for tuning in. We'll get this one fixed. I'll check in the code and we'll go from there. All right. So take care, everyone. Have a great weekend. Bye for now. No worries. Thanks, Y Dragon. See you later.